I'm Beth.
And I'm Lindsay. Welcome to our Get Organized video series sponsored by Janome, Northcott, and ThermoWeb.
The new year is the perfect time to get your home organized, and we'll be here each Wednesday through February 20th to help you do it.
We'll be sharing stylish storage projects, ideas for storing your fabric and tools, your organization personality, and a fun sewing-themed quilt along.
So let's get organized.
So we're going to start off today by showing you how to make this really cute sewing machine organizer that also doubles as a sewing roll you can take on the go.
Hi, I'm Beth, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable 2-in-1 organizer. We're using the Sushi line from Northcott, and it's a really fun project because you can sit your sewing machine on it, the pocket will hang down, or you can also take it on the go with you. So the first thing we are going to do is create the base for our organizer. So we're taking our two 16.5-inch squares and we're putting one down wrong side up, then our 16.5-inch square of batting, and then we're layering our other 16.5-inch square with the right side up. So that's going to make our quilt sandwich. Now we're going to spray baste the layers before we go ahead and quilt this. So we've put a piece of paper down to protect our work surface, and we're just going to give a light coat of the spray and bond from ThermoWeb. We'll flip it over, and then we'll do the other side as well. Next, to get ready for quilting our piece, I have marked the center line with my marking tool, and then marked lines 2 inches away from the center, and then we'll go ahead and quilt it. So I've set up the machine with our walking foot and our quilting guide spaced at 2 inches. And we're going to use a serpentine stitch to quilt this piece. We're kind of taking cues from the wavy lines in the fabric and echoing that with our quilting in the serpentine stitch. Now that we've finished our first line of stitching, now we can use the guide to line up with our previous line of stitching for the rest of the piece. The serpentine stitch is a really great beginner quilting stitch. It gives a really nice texture, and it's just as easy as straight stitching. Once you've finished quilting the entire piece, trim it to 15.5 inches square, and we've already done that. Set that aside. And now we've gotten our 6 5.5 by 11-inch pieces of fabric, and this is a great way to use those novelty prints or really large prints because you're going to see a big chunk of them in the finished piece. So lay those out in the order you'd like them on your organizer, and then we'll sew these together. Once you've sewn both of those pieced units together, then we will fold it in half lengthwise and press, and then you'll take your 13 by 15.5-inch rectangle, fold that in half lengthwise and press that, and then we'll layer the two pieces with raw edges all aligned at the top. I did throw a couple pins in here just to hold the pieces together, and we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch on each side of our seam line to make our pocket unit. Once you've top stitched both your pocket units, you can layer that on your quilted unit and have the folds facing the center and the raw edges on the outside. So we'll line up the raw edges, and then I threw a couple pins in there, and we'll do 1/8 of an inch all the way around the outside just to hold everything in place. Once you've top stitched all the way around, now we can add our binding using a 1/4 inch seam, and that will cover up the previous line of stitching. Once you've finished your binding, you can set your sewing machine on top and fill it with the supplies you'll need while you're sewing. This is such a fun project, and it was so easy to sew.
Yeah, so we just wanted to walk you through some of the supplies that we put in our sewing machine organizer that might give you ideas for how you can use this personally. So it is large enough to fit some smaller rulers, and it does have these larger pockets that can fit bigger rulers, which is great. And just like things like scissors, rotary cutters, seam rippers, markers, anything that you frequently use when you're at your sewing machine just slides in there, and it really can free up your table space when you're sewing.
Yeah, I know I always have a hard time with losing the scissors under a pile of fabric and everything else, so this is nice. It keeps it right in front of you, so you can just grab it out really easily.
Yeah, and if you're having trouble when you put this under your machine and you're sewing, this might be especially true if you're a really speedy sewer and it's moving around or slipping, you can simply just put a non-stick mat right underneath between the table and the organizer, and it won't slip around. Your machine won't slip around.
Yeah, so that could be like a rug, one of those rug grippy pads.
Yeah.
That would work really well for that.
Yes.
And this is a really fun, versatile thing because it also can go on the go with you too.
Yeah, so you have to take out your larger rulers for this, but it does fold in half, and then you can fold along the pockets so that you can just take this and pack it in your, if you're going on a retreat, if you're traveling, if you're just doing some hand sewing and want to bring this with you. And then we just took our leftover binding strips and you can just tie it up, or you can take selvages, would be really cute.
Ribbon, really anything you have.
Yeah, so easy to just pack up everything you need for your retreat, bring your machine, and
Yeah,
hit the road.
so fun. So we have some other things that we want to talk about for keeping your sewing machine organized. And first thing we want to talk about is our sewing machine cover. Now this is really important to protect your machine, and I would say really great to use even when it's just sitting at home, you're not using it. This will protect it from dust and just bumping and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I think a lot of us quilters, especially if we're sewing frequently, we don't always think to put our covers on our machines, but dust can really have an impact on your sewing, so always good to protect.
yes, and this one comes with the Janome 3160 QDC, so really handy. And then, of course, you can go ahead and carry it with it too, so perfect for retreats when you throw it in your car. That way, nothing's going to bump if it's sliding around in your car. It's not going to get damaged, so really
sleek.
important.
It's very sleek looking.
Yes. We'll take that back off because we have some other things to talk about on the machine. The other thing we want to talk about is keeping everything together, all the manual and all the accessories that come with the machine. How do we keep that organized?
Yeah, so especially if you have more than one machine, this is really important. But your machine comes with so many parts and pieces, and you might be buying add-ons to it. You might have like other things that you use frequently for your machine that you're adding. So keeping it all in one box, this is just like a clear storage box you can buy most anywhere. And if you have multiple machines, you might just want to put a label on this so you know exactly what parts are inside. But just having it all together means that when you're having an issue with your machine or you're just doing general cleaning, you can just grab the box and everything you need is right there.
Yeah, and again, for taking to retreats, this one even has a handle on it so you can carry it along with you.
Yeah.
And then inside the box, we have a couple things that were really fun. We have this fun little organizer for our feet.
Yeah, so this is just basically, I think it's like a jewelry organizer, maybe for beads originally, but it perfectly stores the feet, and the Janome actually comes with quite a few feet with it, especially that walking foot is really nice. So this is just a great way to keep everything organized and all in one place.
All those nice and organized, and then you're not digging through the bin if you have other things in there to find those too.
Yeah, you could even label, the slots in this organizer for
That
the
would be
feet,
nice.
so you can just grab what you need quickly.
Right, that way you can see at a glance, oh, that's the A foot, that's the one I need. Another great thing, you can find this around your house, I bet everybody has one of these at home, is a pill bottle that you can put your bobbins in.
Yeah, so we just have empty bobbins in here right now, but if you were going on a retreat and you wanted to pre-wind a bunch of bobbins, you can keep them all just in the pill bottle, keep it all organized, so you can just grab and go on those.
And they'll stay nice and secure.
Yeah.
It's a nice little lid, locks
Your
on there
threads
really
won't be
tight.
getting caught on a bunch of things and pulling things out. It's all right there.
Yeah. And then another thing you might want to do when you're taking your machine on a retreat is to put a label on the bottom of your foot. That way it won't get mixed up with your friends or somebody else. And you might even want to write, you know, this is the Janome, this is the Janome foot if you have more than one sewing machine as well.
Great idea. And another idea too is when you're wrapping your cords up, we just put a cord wrap that we sewed out of fabric, which if you're looking for this pattern, we did this on last week's video, so you can get this. But we just wrapped it around the cord and we added it to our sewing machine too, so we know that any cord wrapped in this fabric belongs to this machine. So we would wrap our foot cord with this too, and anything else we would need to associate with that machine can get one of those wraps too.
Yeah. Another great thing to do is if you have like a little screwdriver, this is our little screwdriver to change the foot on this machine. You can go ahead and add a little Velcro, sticky Velcro to the back of it, and then you could put it on your machine. So this is a really fun way to just keep that super handy so you're not digging for that when you need it. And now you would not want to use a magnet for this. That's not something you want near the computerized elements of your sewing machine. But yeah, Velcro works great for that, and you can just pop it right on and then pull it off when you need it.
Yeah, this would be great for things like seam rippers or like little snips if yours, this has an automatic cutter, but little snips if your machine doesn't have a cutter. Just keeping those things that you use frequently stuck to your machine with Velcro is a great idea.
Yeah. And then one last thing as far as machine maintenance goes is we want to keep track of how often are we cleaning it when it's been serviced and that kind of thing. And so we have a handy little post-it here on our manual.
Yeah, so we just think it's important to always know the last time you serviced your machine, or if you're cleaning it yourself, just put a simple post-it note right inside, write the dates on so you can keep things straight. So if you are experiencing any problems or it's been a while since you've done anything, you can see right there when you're referencing your machine guide when you need to do some cleaning or maintenance.
Yeah. So all these things I think will help you stay organized and not lose any pieces to your sewing machine, which is a big investment for your sewing, so you don't want to lose any of those pieces.
Absolutely. So next we're going to show you block 2 in our quilt-along quilt. Spool was so fun to make, and it would be really fun to play with your thread colors, maybe a fun stripe, some variations to see what you're going to do with that.
It is really cute. Now next we're going to show you how to make a needle keeper. So this is a really fun project that doesn't take too much fabric.
No, it's really easy, perfect for holding all your hand sewing needles, taking on the go with you, and we're going to show you how to do that.
So we are using the X's and O's line from Northcott, and this is a really fun feature print that has a nice big pattern.
Yes, it's perfect for this project because you're not cutting smaller pieces out of this or covering it up with a lot of things, so feel free to show off those florals.
Yes, find a fun print and feature that. So first you'll gather your materials. So we've got 2 pieces here, and they're 4 by 7.5.
Yes.
And then we have some stabilizer, and we're cutting a 3.5 by 7 inch out of that. And then felt It's like a batting or fleece. So we've got two 2.5 by 6 inch pieces, and those are going to be the little pages for the needles.
Yeah, so first what you want to do is you're going to fuse your stabilizer centered on one piece of your fabric. Then you're going to put your fabrics right sides together, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch around, but you need to leave about a 4-inch opening along one end for turning. I tried this and I used a slightly smaller, and it was really hard to turn. So make sure you're leaving like a good size hole on the side.
Yeah, with that stabilizer in there, I'm sure it is a little tricky to turn. So we're going to do that 1/4 inch around here.
Yeah.
Stop with our needle down. We'll spare you showing this entire thing. We've done that already.
Yes. So next what you want to do is we have clipped all of our corners, so reduce bulk, and then you're going to just turn it right side out through that opening in the side, and then just push out the corners. And I can spare you awkwardly watching me do this section too. Okay, so this is it's flipped out. We've pushed out the corners, and then that opening we have just folded in 1/4 inch, and then we're going to top stitch 1/8 of a way all the way around this, which will close the hole and give it a nice finished look.
Okay. So while I do that, Lindsay's going to tell you a little bit more about the products.
So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about why we used interfacing for the outside of our needle book. So we did use heat and bond fusible interfacing, and they have different firmnesses, so you can choose one that you are comfortable with. This is the extra firm. And what it does when you put it in the outside of the book is it gives it a little extra stability so that your needles aren't poking right through the fabric and hurting you when you grab it to go. So that stabilizer is pretty important to this project. And also, while Beth is top stitching, our next step is to take our felt pieces and we're going to fold them in half, and we're going to finger press along the fold. And you don't want to use an iron for this step. If you are a person that likes to use their iron to get a nice, press, this will actually melt your felt or your batting if it has polyester in it. So you really want to just finger press and get nice, smooth creases in there. Okay, and then you are just going to align them on top of each other with the fold lines together. Okay, and then we're going to fold your needle book in half as well, finger press in place, and then align all those folds, center it, and then Beth's gonna stitch right down those lines to finish it. So we're using a gray thread right now, which blends in with the fabrics. So you can choose whatever thread you'd like for your project, but just keep in mind you're stitching through white, possibly, so you just want to make sure you're choosing a thread color that looks good. So here we go. It's all finished. It's ready for you to stick your needles in all the different pages, and you could even label the pages with like a marker if you have different, like your binding needles, your, applique needles, if you have different types. Just ready for you to take on the go. So easy, so cute.
That would be a fun little gift too.
Yeah, for your sewing buddies.
Yeah.
So next we're going to share our next organizing personality. Could you be a display Donna?
I think I might be a display Donna. Week 2 is Display Donna. Display Donna is generally detached from the abundance of items around her. She doesn't view them as clutter. They're just a fact of life. Because seeing is believing for Donna, for her to get motivated to become organized, she should look at before and after photos of others' organization projects. Creating a paper or digital vision board with photos, images, and notes will keep her inspired. Sharing photos of her success online will motivate other visual people to do the same. Characteristics. She keeps everything out and in clear sight because she believes out of sight is out of mind. She has multiple projects going on simultaneously and will complete some, but not all of them. She needs to work in surroundings that are beautiful. stimulating, and comfortable. She has too many books that she doesn't use and sometimes accidentally purchases items she already owns. Fast first projects. Pick a project, like organizing your books, that can be completed in one session. Sort and save only those books that you will use or reference. Organize them neatly on a bookshelf. Donate books you won't use. Clear flat surfaces to create more workspace because flat surfaces are prime real estate for working, not piling. Hang a no clutter zone sign as a reminder. Identify the first cluttered area that is visible when entering the sewing room. Declutter and organize this area and use it as a daily reminder of success. Optimal organizing tools. Shopping tip. Before making any purchases to help create organization, use your creative side to think about utilizing items already on hand. Baskets and mason jars are great for organizing and are likely already in your home. Bulletin boards and pegboards are perfect for out in the open storage. Decorate them with personal flair. Open shelves and clear bins are great for organizing fabric and notions. You will be more likely to maintain the system if items are contained but easy to see. Well, after seeing that, I think I might be a combination of Make It All Martha, our first week's personality, and Display Donna.
Oh my gosh, how many personalities can Beth be, guys?
We'll see.
So we will be back next Wednesday for our third episode in our Get Organized video series. We're going to be sharing how to make a mini mat holder.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some fusibles and adhesives and different ways you might want to use those.
We're going to be sharing block 3 in our quilt along, and our next organizing personality. Could it also go to Beth?
Find out next week.
We'll see you next week.